Welcome to Polybridge, where I have to get this motorbike across this gap and this moped across the same gap using only 2 roads. What do they expect me to do? So I imagine I'd need some sort of swing just to take it over. The only thing is, as much as I want it to, it's not going to actually reach the height of the dock. Like, it's going to lose energy through the process of the swing and therefore not make it that far. What if I add a very tiny hydraulic on top that helps pull the side up? I mean, it gets me closer to the edge. What if I use a spring to generate a little extra force? Oh, never mind. Can't adjust springs. You know, I quite like that, actually. It means you can't cheese it with a spring cannon. If I want instead, I could use some sort of steel-based linkage system, whereas I have 2 identical muscles, and if I pull one over, then I would pull both over. I would need a base that's more like this, and I guess I could connect it down here. So the idea is, if I pull it, it should be pretty stable. Let me see if this sort of thing works. Oh god, this shouldn't be, that should not be cable. That's not how that works. Does it work better if it's steel, or does it still flex? Nope, that doesn't work. If I reinforce the piece, these should be rigid pillars. And they do get pulled over. Do they connect? Well, they go a little far. I figured out the problem. My distance calculations were wrong. I just had the hydraulic be a little bit too big, but adjusted the right size actually makes it over and clicks. So now I just gotta do something similar for above. You know, it gets them pretty close, even though it's probably not exactly what you want out of it. Tell me, what if I just take this and flip it? Flip it horizontally again, because hydraulics are always going to activate. And then second, I got to make sure everything is a split joint. Okay. Run this back. I mean, it's very satisfying when it gets to... Ah! His poor head. Ah, crap. Well, hold on. Do I actually need a separate system here? Why not just have it be a double-decker system? I don't know if this is going to rotate weirdly now, though, on top. Or just be too heavy. It might be too heavy. I wonder if it would work if this piece didn't snap. Well, I could always muscle it up, and it's really hard to see what's going on here, but, I mean, it could work. Yeah, it does move. And actually, it pivots exactly like how I'd hoped it would. And it clicks, so I guess if it works for one, it might work for the other. Oh, no! Oh, what broke? The tiny steel piece. Too many small pieces in this. Maybe I gotta refix this structure so it's not tiny. What if I take it and just flip it? I wonder if it does any better if it's dangling. Like, I wonder if the mechanics of the system are similar or different if I have a little gravity to work in my favor. It doesn't click, but it is working. So there is that. You know, this is a fine problem to have, actually. I guess it's a bit less satisfying since it doesn't click, but it does work. Honestly, it is still pretty satisfying. I kind of want to shave this. I'm going to try some more simple shaves. Like, I don't think I need this reinforcing steel piece. I don't think I need a steel muscle. I don't think I need whatever the hell this is, because I'm pretty sure I can just attach it with a wood box. And there's a bunch of other small pieces I believe can be all wood. Right? Let's see. Look at it wiggle. Does it still work? No. Okay. So, I do in fact need this to be reinforced. Or if I do a box with one side missing, this actually is rigid and won't buckle. But I have another part above that's not rigid. Probably the box. Okay, so the box as a concept just doesn't work. I'll just have to make it a more rigid shape here, and I think this is all that's needed. The only issue is I may have some breakage with the wood. Yep, okay. It seems that maybe the right piece is a lot more of a guiding one. Okay. Oh, there are still some breaks. Yeah, hold on, though. I'm getting the feeling that the rightmost piece doesn't need as much steel as the leftmost piece does. Keep sending it until something doesn't break. There we go. It's definitely more stressed, but I imagine it'll be easier coming back now. And it is, in fact, easier. Yeah, it wants to tear itself apart. I feel like this should be shaveable, but I'm just missing out on how. Do I actually need this right side guiding piece at all? Like, what if it's just a rope? Like, what if it's not rigid? It still works as intended. Awesome. This whole thing would be a lot easier if it did click. Might it just be easier if I add some sort of very small attachment? What if I do a trick where I simply don't pull it as far across and then get a much more possible click? Because here's the thing, right? If it doesn't go as far, it might actually line up then with the split joint. I mean, you kind of get the idea. Then you figure out the exact distance. You also probably got to move this road up a little. Then realize it doesn't need to be a split joint. Now I've got a really weird shape, but if it clicks, it's gonna be great. Hey, it clicked, but it still broke. So it's not gonna come back. It's gonna do a funny swing. That's it. I decreased the size of hydraulic a bit more. Now it doesn't break, but does it make it back? It does. Awesome. I feel like this can be shaved more still. Okay, I replaced a couple of steel pieces with wood and made the hydraulic shorter. It doesn't click anymore. Oh, but I guess it doesn't actually need to. Oh, good. More budget I can shave. I think the last tweak I'll make is replacing rope with wood rope. It does the same thing. If I just need tension, then it brings it across. Now, it does distribute the weight differently, but that doesn't matter. I'm under 13,000. I consider that a win. 24th place. Oh, but I could keep going. Maybe top 20. I finally did it. I made the bottom a box. I just needed to detach it from any and all piers. And it does swing into the finish. Also made some tweaks on top. Just make it a bit more of a fine point there. Bringing me to a cool 11th place. Not bad. This vehicle's stuck upside down. Someone call an ambulance. Or I'll have to be the one to fix this. How do I even flip a thing like this over? How would I try to pull it in with a diamond hydraulic? That just instantly breaks. Ow. Oh, there you go. Oh, all right. It's up. It just snapped. Maybe this just works better with a single hydraulic? Or is that not strong enough? No, that is strong enough. Does it work? Ah, much better. Now, one thing I want to make sure just ahead of time is that this little moped guy can actually fit under the road, because look at how it's tilted. Does it look like it can fit? Maybe. Possibly. Let's assume that it does, and then build a simple bridge. Can't I just hold it up by a rope? Flip the pancake and drive across. Here's an issue. The ambulance's flag is in front of the moped's flag. How do I plan on getting the moped to its own flag? Oh, this comes back down. Actually, that's not a big deal because I can drive over. Maybe it will just simply push the ambulance. I think I could still make this work, though. Possibly like this. It would go over the ambulance, but I have to make sure that the road is out of the way of the ambulance itself. So I could just take this and pull it up and then support the hell out of it with steel, giving it both physical and emotional support. Okay, that's not how that works. I've also got to support the pivot point. Now it should work. Yeah, so the question is the ambulance going to fit under that? It looks like it should. Now, is the bridge going to hit it on the way back down? No, it does not. Well, now it's a suitable ramp. Will the moped make it up is the next question. It is pretty steep. It probably has absolutely no horsepower. Okay, that's pretty sad. Let's try to at least make this less steep. I mean, here's the thing, though. I got to be careful. The ambulance still makes it through. It may hit. It doesn't hit. Is there a touch? Oh, it just barely doesn't touch. Please make it over. It's not even that steep. You can do it. Oh, you absolute knob. I have an idea. What if I create an elevator for the ambulance itself? I can start with just two simple roads. Make sure they click with the split joints down here. And just kind of hold this point in from a bunch of different joints. I think I need a little cable guide to keep this from swaying too far. And its own little support. And I just got to make sure these don't disconnect. But yeah, this point is important because it won't sway too far to either side. I think I calculated it wrong. Never mind. This needs to be more out like that. There we go. Did the math wrong. I was tracing this point to where the roads were, not to where this point will be when it's lowered. But now it should come and click. There we go. Now, will it lift up the ambulance without any issues? You know, it just needs another stabilizer. That's all it needs. Stabilizer number 2. It can't let it go far in either direction. With 2 stabilizers, it surely won't stray. And I really hope it doesn't, because I am basically on budget right now. Yeah, look at that. A floating bridge. Awesome. Plenty of room for the moped to make it underneath. Plenty. Dude's got a whole freaking canyon underneath. I wanted to take a look at one of the cheapest designs, and I gotta say, this is tight. I mean, it has a very minimalist lift, and this is just great. The road perfectly wedges in between the wheels, just high enough for the moped to fit under. Look at that. His head barely nicks the wheel, probably bobbles his cap around a little bit, but that's a good bridge. I'm glad these people did the optimizing for me. This level is called Let It Slide. See, the A car comes in and stops. Then there's a hydraulic phase, and then a freaking cruise ship comes in. So obviously the van's got to get out of the way. Then there's another hydraulic phase, and then both vehicles got to cross the bridge. It's got to be pretty sturdy. But this is idle on downhill, so I imagine I just literally needed to slide backwards. So it's got to be a pretty sturdy bridge. Imagine I could do under supports for a little bit. Or maybe I'd be better off just doing cable supports to the top. That's probably cleaner. Here's the issue, though. When the car stops in the middle, it's got to slide back. And I think that means doing a bridge like this, and then doing a split joint here. Then I could rigidly support this side. I don't know how much it really needs to tilt up. But if I had to guess, it's probably quite a bit. Let's just see if there's any merit to this. Oh god, okay, it cannot pull up that easily. I mean, I can try replacing some of this with reinforced roads, but it's gonna have a hard time. Yeah, it just buckles like that. Let me see exactly where it stops. It stops pretty central, so I probably don't need to bring over that much bridge. I could probably detach it here. But I would still need to bring back this road piece. So, I mean, that should be a lot easier. I forget if I can do a hydraulic curl. No, because it's just going to fall into nothing. Great idea. I could still have parts of the bridge curl, and then other parts could get pulled up. I don't know. It still seems like something's going to break. But it doesn't. But it is going to break once it hits this ship. Oh, yeah, there it goes. Hey, at least the van's fine. I have a lower angle. Does it break? It does pull in more. That may be enough. Ooh, that is enough. Now, the question is it a strong bridge? Because there's a whole ass truck coming across it. It was pretty close. I will just do a rope attachment here. And I'll just reinforce this road. I got money to spend. Why not spend it? It's a pretty neat curl. It does barely scrape the cruise ship. Some passengers are getting a nice roadside view from their window, but I think this should perfectly hold now. Oh yeah, not even close to stressed. Yeah, it's a solid bridge. I want to optimize this one. There's so much steel and cable and hydraulics that I feel like this can be done. So a couple small changes, starting with some rope instead of cable, and then also some less reinforced roads. It seems to be working a lot better. In fact, it doesn't seem to be getting that stressed at all. Well, it may get stressed later. Yes, but not enough to break. And I've got a bit of ways to go. For under supports, usually this part can be rope instead of steel. Let's see if it works. And it works beautifully. I'm just keeping an eye on what can be changed. Left side looks very unstressed. Do I even need these pieces? It'd be a pleasure if they could just go. Oh, looking good right now. Major ups if it can hold the truck. Again, that's the hard part. Again, it looks like the left side's not that stressed. Top 100 at least. I'm going to replace all three of these steels with wood somehow. How about like that? Because I think they were just stabilizers. I'm starting to see a lot more get stressed. But honestly, if it doesn't break, that's all I care about. Next thing I'm going to have to do is figure out how to reduce hydraulics. And that genuinely scares me. I feel like I gotta get $10,000 off still. I found another breakthrough. The bottom left weird contraption could be replaced by a long toothpick with a joint in the middle that's connected like a K. So I'll call it the K toothpick. And it does hold up quite well. It doesn't need this weird tension wood thing. Gets me a 21.2 and top 10. And I just noticed now that 4 people are exactly tied for first place. What are you people doing? But these were some sweet optimizations today. So I'd like to thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. More optimizations coming soon. Hope you all have a wonderful day and peace.